Some footballers overwhelm you with power. Others leave you speechless with speed. Robert Pirès did something different. He made football look effortless. Every touch seemed perfectly weighted. Every pass perfectly timed. Every dribble calm. Every finish composed. While others forced the game, Pirès simply flowed with it. It was as though he always had more time than everyone else on the pitch. Defenders chased him. Supporters admired him. Teammates trusted him. Because football always looked easier when Robert Pirès had the ball. This is the story of football's most elegant winger. Robert Emmanuel Pirès was born on the 29th of October, 1973, in Reims, France. His love of football came naturally. His father, Antonio, had emigrated from Portugal and introduced him to the game at a young age. Those Portuguese influences, combined with French flair, helped shape a footballer unlike almost any other. Technique before power. Intelligence before speed. Elegance above everything else. His professional career began with FC Metz. Even as a teenager, there was something different about him. He never looked rushed. He never wasted possession. Pirès wasn't interested in spectacular tricks. He wanted control. Every movement had purpose. Every touch created space. Every decision made the game simpler. Managers quickly realized they weren't coaching an ordinary winger. They were developing one of France's brightest talents. Success soon followed. Pirès helped Metz win the Coupe de la Ligue. His performances attracted attention from across France. Then, one of the country's biggest clubs came calling. Olympique de Marseille. The pressure immediately increased. The expectations grew. Pirès responded exactly as he always did. Quietly, confidently, elegantly. Week after week, he became one of Ligue 1's finest attacking players. While his club career flourished, another opportunity arrived. France, the reigning world champions. Breaking into that squad wasn't easy. Competition was extraordinary. Zinedine Zidane, Didier Deschamps, Yuri Djorkaeff, Thierry Henry, David Trezeguet. Yet Robert Pirès earned his place. Not through noise. Through quality. His intelligence. His movement. His creativity. He gave France another dimension. Then came UEFA Euro 2000. One of the greatest international teams football has ever produced. Pirès became one of its most important players. His balance. His vision. His ability to drift inside created problems defenders couldn't solve. Then, the final. France against Italy. With time running out, Pirès produced one of the defining moments of the tournament. He burst into the penalty area before delivering the perfect pass for Sylvain Wiltord to score a dramatic equalizer. France survived. Extra time followed. David Trezeguet scored the famous golden goal. France were champions of Europe. Pirès had helped change history. Europe was watching. And one manager in particular already knew exactly what he wanted. That manager was Arsène Wenger. He believed Robert Pirès possessed everything needed to succeed in English football. Vision, technique, intelligence, composure. In the summer of 2000, Arsenal made their move. Many questioned whether such an elegant footballer could cope with the pace and physicality of the Premier League. Could style really overcome strength? Could grace survive in England's toughest league? Robert Pirès was about to answer every single doubt. When Robert Pirès arrived in England, many believed the Premier League would change him. They thought the tackles would be too hard, the pace too fast, the defenders too physical. They expected him to struggle. Instead, Robert Pirès changed the Premier League. His first season wasn't straightforward. Everything felt different. The tempo, the intensity, the physical battles. Then came another setback. A serious knee injury threatened to derail everything. Many players never return the same after injuries like that. Robert Pirès returned. Even better. The 2001-02 season became unforgettable. Arsenal were magnificent. Patrick Vieira controlled midfield. Dennis Bergkamp created magic. Thierry Henry terrified defenders. And on the left wing, Robert Pirès glided past opponents with breathtaking ease. He wasn't simply beating defenders. He was making them look ordinary. One touch, one turn, one perfectly timed pass, or one composed finish. Everything looked effortless. That season, Arsenal won both the Premier League and the FA Cup, the famous double. Pirès was one of the team's outstanding performers. He wasn't the loudest player. He didn't demand headlines. Yet week after week, he produced moments of pure quality. Supporters adored him. His teammates trusted him. His manager couldn't have been happier. Arsène Wenger later described Pirès as one of the most intelligent footballers he had ever coached. Few compliments carried more weight. Then came the Invincibles. The 2003-04 season. 38 league matches. Not one defeat. One of football's greatest achievements. Robert Pirès played a huge part. His understanding with Ashley Cole down the left became one of the Premier League's finest partnerships. Cole would overlap. Pirès would drift inside. Defenders didn't know who to follow. Leave Pirès. He'd score. Close him down. He'd find Henry. Track Henry. Pirès would appear in space. It wasn't just talent. It was intelligence. During Arsenal's unbeaten campaign, Pirès reached another remarkable level. He scored goals, created chances, controlled matches. He finished the season with outstanding numbers, proving he wasn't simply a creator. He was a match winner. His calm finishing became almost as famous as his dribbling. One-on-one with the goalkeeper, he rarely looked rushed. He simply picked his corner and passed the ball into the net. Perhaps that was what made him so special. Everything appeared easy. Football isn't easy. The Premier League certainly wasn't. Yet Robert Pirès made the hardest things look beautifully simple. That is the mark of true elegance. His partnership with Thierry Henry became legendary. The two Frenchmen understood each other almost instinctively. One movement, one glance, one pass. The rest happened naturally. Their combination produced countless unforgettable goals. They didn't just play together. They thought the game the same way. For Arsenal supporters, watching Henry and Pirès attack was like watching art in motion. By now, Robert Pirès had achieved almost everything. A World Cup winner, a European champion, 2 times Premier League winner, 3 times FA Cup winner, an Invincible. One of the finest wingers in world football. Yet there was still another chapter to write. Because football's most elegant winger was about to leave North London. But elegance never goes out of style. Football often celebrates power, pace, strength, aggression. Robert Pirès proved there was another way. He didn't need to overpower defenders. He outthought them. By the time they realized what he was about to do, he'd already done it. That was his greatest gift. In 2006, after 6 unforgettable years, Robert Pirès left Arsenal. Supporters were heartbroken. He had become one of the defining faces of Arsène Wenger's revolution. A World Cup winner, a European champion, a double winner, an Invincible. One of the finest foreign players ever to grace the Premier League. His legacy at Arsenal was already secure. His next destination was Spain, Villarreal. Many wondered whether his best years were behind him. Robert Pirès answered the only way he ever knew. By playing football. His experience became invaluable. His touch remained immaculate. His vision never faded. Even as the game became faster, his mind stayed one step ahead. Because football intelligence doesn't disappear with age. If anything, it becomes even more valuable. At Villarreal, he helped the club compete with Spain's biggest sides. Young players learned from him. Supporters admired him. Managers trusted him. His role had changed. He wasn't simply entertaining anymore. He was guiding, leading, teaching. The elegance was still there. Only now, it came with wisdom. Eventually, his remarkable career came to an end. But the memories never faded. World Cup winner, European champion, 2 Premier League titles, 3 FA Cups, an Invincible, more than 100 goals at club level, countless assists, and thousands of moments that reminded us football could still be beautiful. So, what made Robert Pirès different? Was it his dribbling, his passing, his finishing, his trophies? Perhaps. But there was something even greater. He made difficult football look simple. He never rushed, never forced the spectacular. He always chose the right option. Sometimes, the simplest pass. Sometimes, the perfect finish. Sometimes, just one touch to eliminate a defender. That intelligence separated him from almost everyone else. Ask Arsenal supporters about Robert Pirès, and they'll smile. Not because he scored the most goals, not because he shouted the loudest, but because watching him play felt effortless. Every touch had purpose. Every movement had grace. Every performance reminded us that football isn't only about winning. It's also about how you play the game. Arsène Wenger once built a team that became known as the Invincibles. A team filled with remarkable footballers. Patrick Vieira, Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, Sol Campbell, Ashley Cole. Among those legends, Robert Pirès never looked out of place. He belonged. Because true elegance never disappears under pressure. It shines even brighter. Perhaps that's why so many former defenders speak about him with such admiration. He rarely embarrassed them with tricks. He embarrassed them with decisions. He always seemed to know what they were going to do before they did. That is football intelligence at its highest level. And very few players have ever possessed it like Robert Pirès. Football has produced many great wingers. Some thrilled us with speed. Some amazed us with skill. Some overwhelmed us with power. Robert Pirès gave us something different. He gave us elegance. A footballer who played with intelligence, creativity, and effortless quality. That's why Robert Pirès will always be remembered as football's most elegant winger. And above all, a true footballing icon.